Yeah, Mariska, thank you
Hello.
for coming for the event. Mariska is from the Automaker, which is a very popular brand, I would say. Okay, so right now I shall let you present. I shall hide in the backstage now. Okay, see you later.
Let me share my screen. Ta-da! Okay, so welcome to the challenges of interacting with the open source 3D printing community. Hi, I'm Mariska Maas. I'm the technical community manager for Ultimaker, but on the internet you might know me as Mari Makes in different configurations. And I'm going to share with you today how it is to be a moderator on the internet. This is a disclaimer. I'm just an engineer. I'm not a support expert. I didn't went to support school. I went to design school and engineering school. So these are my experience. This is not official support advice. So which corners of the internet do I operate? So I spend a lot of time on the Ultimaker community forum. Here's a bunch of, I love numbers, here's a bunch of numbers. We have about 2,000 member visits per month, but we also see for every 40 people on the website that are signed in, there's another 200 people who are not signed in, who found the forum via a Google search or via a link another way. We have about 40 new signups per day, which is pretty cool, and 9 new topics per day. So that's 9 people who start a new discussion, who start asking a question, or start asking troubleshooting, or start showing off the things that they work on. So that's quite a lot. But I also spend a lot of time on Ultimaker, the Ultimaker Cura GitHub. GitHub is a place where you can do software development online together. You can have it closed source or open source. We're open source, so at all times, people on the internet can see the kind of code that we're developing and can contribute or point out mistakes that we're making. It's also a place where you can submit bug reports or feature requests. So on GitHub, we have about 1,500 visitors per month. And what's extra interesting is that we have 20 authors per month, so 20 developers contributing to the code. But in the Cura team, we only have about 5, 6 developers. So that means that at least 15 authors per month are not working for Ultimaker. They're just people in their free time contributing code, which is super awesome. And also here on the GitHub, we have about 7 new topics per day. So 7 new people who submit new feature requests or bug requests or start new discussions. So that's a lot. So what do people ask questions about? Well, mainly they ask questions about Cura. Cura is a desktop software that turns a 3D model into movements for a 3D printer. And every time you convert the model into a certain kind of movements with certain temperatures or certain settings, that's called a slice. And we have about 5 million slices per week. So we passed 5 million at the beginning of January, which is so many. That's about 9 slices per second. Every moment of the day, people around the world use our software. That's amazing. What's also amazing is that Ultimaker as a 3D printing brand, we only have about 10 different printer configurations. But inside of Cura, you can find over 500 available 3D printers. All those 490 plus printers, they come from the community. So if they had a printer and they saw the printer was not available and the printer has specific dimensions or specific settings, and they put effort in contributing the code so other people can use their settings for 3D printing. And next to adding printers, we also have plugins. So those are pieces of software where you can download inside of Cura that change your interaction with Cura. So they either help explain settings that you have, or they change the way the layout looks, or they add new type of support blockers. And of those, we have 55 plugins, which are also contributed by members who do that in their free time, who like coding and who like improving their Cura experience and like to share that with others, which is super cool. Also good to mention, from last September, I'm also moderator for Thingiverse. That usually entails removing a lot of middle fingers or not safe for work content, stopping people from arguing in the comments of a flat Earth model. I can have a whole different presentation about that. Today we're gonna really focus on Cura. Luckily, all the moderation, all the 7 new topics per day, I don't moderate them alone. We have a wonderful crew of people who, in their spare time, spend time answering people, troubleshooting, and in a lot of topics, they're even better at me than I am. These people don't work for Automaker. These people just really love developing and really love helping people. So I'm super grateful for them. So I'm going to show you an example of a request that I get on a daily basis. This is like a fairy tale example. Most of them are not going as smooth as this one. So we try to release a new version of Cura every 2 months, and in the 2 weeks before it, we release a beta version, which is a pre-release that people can test, and we try to fix as many bugs that we introduced as possible. So only a few people see the bugs, and then the majority can enjoy an experience that has less bugs. So this is an example of a bug report I get. So this one I got in October. And what we did is we introduced a new type of raft. A raft is a type of adhesion that makes your 3D prints stick to the build plate. It's not one we commonly use on Ultimaker printers, but we introduced a new setting, remove raft inside corners, so we can make a shrinkage plate for metal FFF printing. So we introduced a new setting and we turn it on by default, even though it only is applicable in a few cases. So we made a mistake. I brought it up to the team. I say like, hey, I can reproduce your settings. I'll bring it up to the team. And then I bring it up to the team. So we have about 3 meetings a week where we discuss any tickets that I cannot resolve myself. They recognize there was an error. We resolved it. Because it's public, I can even show where the code changed. And we were able to ship it with the Cura 5.2 stable version. So this is the 5.2 release. And you can see the inside corner is removed. It's mentioned in the release notes that it's fixed. And you can see the checkbox is unchecked. So this is an example of the type of requests that we process. So if you think this is easy, I want to help, I want to submit feature requests, or I want to help submit bugs, these are some do's and don'ts. So please do make sure you have steps to reproduce. If it happened that one time on that one device, and you cannot reproduce it anymore, it's also going to be really hard for us to reproduce it. And if we cannot reproduce it anymore, we can also not see if the fix that we created fixes it. So before you submit, please make sure that you can reproduce the issue that you run into. Secondly, please check for duplicates. Maybe someone else has already reported it and you put a lot of effort in your ticket, and then we have to close it because we need to keep an overview. If you cannot find a duplicate, that's fine. Often we can, if there's a duplicate, we can find it more easily than you, but at least try, that would really help. Please include the info that we ask for, use the template. We put a lot of the effort in the template. It makes troubleshooting a lot easier. All the fields are there to help you and to help me. So please use it. If you have a problem with your 3D model, please share it as a project file. Please don't share pictures of your screen. That's really hard for me to troubleshoot. GitHub doesn't have the ability to share the .3mf files in which project files come, but you can zip them up and you can share them anyways. Luckily on the forum, you can just share your 3mf file and that makes troubleshooting really easier. Also, be mindful, it's a public place. People can Google for it. So please don't share your phone numbers or your emails. I've had people do that. Please don't do that. And if you are sharing a paid model, please consider taking it down after we finish troubleshooting so other people cannot download your file and then do stuff with it. Finally, before you leave the website, please check your notification settings. If we have questions for you or if we want to give you an update, if we end up putting your issue on the backlog, yes or no, it's good for you to know. So check your notification settings if it's turned on by email or, I don't know, whatever kind of notifications you like. So you don't have to press F5 on the page. And then finally, please be patient. We really do our best to help you within a week. That's not always possible. Sometimes it's busier than other times. Sometimes there are more difficult problems. So we do our best. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the print room in my home. So this is me working on a 3D print. Here are some don'ts. I can't believe I have to say this, but please don't make fun of others. We're here to have fun together. We're here to help, to troubleshoot. There's no use in making fun of how people use their emojis or how people, how smart people are, yes or no, or if they're able to figure out something. Please, if you don't have something good to say, please leave people be. Also, please don't cheat your way through the templates. We have people who just copy paste emails inside of the different fields or just copy paste the same thing. We put effort and time in your request. Please pay some respect and please use our template. That's gonna really help us. Also, please don't share the incorrect files. One time I just got a PowerPoint because they could not find their model. So now I have a PowerPoint of Mary Parker Follett. Yeah, it's really hard for me to troubleshoot if you don't share the correct files. Also, please don't mention that you've been in software for 20 years. It's not you, it's me. Usually, everything that happens after that sentence is bad news. It's either mean or degrading, or yeah, I just stop reading. And I think a lot of people, I've just had too many bad experience with that sentence. So I'm sorry. Also, please don't threaten anyone. I know it's an anonymous space. It's hard for us to lose customers on free software. We really like to keep you because we're passionate, but you're not giving us any money for the software. Also, please don't tell my manager or tell my CEO or don't threaten me with anything else. That would be nice. And finally, don't be salty. I'm here to help you. And if you hide your comments or if you hide your request in salty comments, I'm not really inclined to help you. I'm getting paid to help you, but we have a lot of volunteers that are not going to help you at all. And I'm just the messenger. I cannot, like, the best I can do is transfer your problem. I cannot solve it in the tip of my head. So please don't be salty. If you want to earn a star in my book, if you want to be like extra special, be nice. That would be amazing. Thank you. Also, if you share a model, add a warning if it's applicable. This planter has a really big butt, which is fine. I don't judge you if you want to print like really pretty ladies or very explicit things. Just give me a warning because I'm in the office and people might stare weirdly at me. Usually, if the name says beautiful lady, I pay some extra attention, but giving me a warning would also be nice. Also, please stay on topic. I know it's easy to start listing all the problems that you're encountering. It's really easy for you, but it's really hard for us to start tracking the different kind of issues. So if you have like 2 issues or 3 issues, please make 3 different tickets. It's easier for us to keep track like that. So this person was really passionately talking about how they were 3D printing a yacht, like a super yacht, and they had a bunch of questions, and but they also put them all in the same place, which was hard for me to troubleshoot. Also, please share your goals. I'm advocating for you. I'm trying to convince the boss that this is the next thing that we need to do. So share what you want to do. We encounter a lot of XY problems where you started doing X and then you thought it was solved by Y, but it wasn't solved by Y. So you go to a form and you ask Y. But if you ask X instead, that's often something that I can help you with. So in this case, this person asked for settings to go to a different slicer, which is fine. So I asked them like, hey, so why would you like to move to a different slicer? Well, they were looking for a very specific feature. And I can ask the team to work on a feature request. I cannot ask them to supply people to move to a different slicer. So please keep in mind, what was the original goal before you start posting? Also, please be mindful that we have corporate overlords. The boss decides the order in which we start picking up issues. They define a priority. So if your priority is very far away from the goal or is helping only a very small subset of people, there is a significant chance that we don't have time to work on it. This is a good example. We see that every day we have about 500,000 slices with 1 or 2 extruder 3D printers, but we see only less than 50 slices for 3D printers with more than 3 extruders. So if we start fixing issues with 8 extruders, we're helping only a very small subset per day. And if it's not really easy to fix, often we don't get time to spend on it. Also, please don't engage the trolls. That would be nice. If people are mean, usually there's something else going on in their life. maybe they're going through a divorce, maybe they didn't have dinner yet. Please just let them be, take a deep breath, and just wait for me to ban them from the forum. And also, most importantly, show us your prints. We make software to help people 3D printing, so we love to see what you use it for. So I really love seeing if I help you troubleshoot this Geralt statue, how it turns out, or how your alien statue turns out, or if I spent a lot of time helping you to slice this Deadpool mask. I love seeing when it's finished. That makes me really happy. So you saw a lot of different stereotypes. Here are some more. What kind of people do I meet on the internet? There's a lot of beginners. Often the beginners are either really old or really young, and often they're helped by GIFs. We have a lot of tweakers. Those are really hard to troubleshoot. I really try my best. We have over 500 settings that you can change in Cura. And these tweakers proudly change a lot of their settings or have like custom 3D printers. But then it's really hard to figure out which of the settings are causing the behavior that is undesired. But we try to do our best. Luckily, there's a lot of other tweakers on the community as well. So usually they help each other, which is super nice. We have a lot of flyby reporters, people who just report and then fly away and then never come back. Those are a bit disappointing because they never know if their issue gets fixed, yes or no, or they're never there to answer questions. We have necromancers, people who just make an account to leave an unhelpful comment on an old post. So they revive an old post, and then usually chaos ensues. So those are also people I try to avoid. Cura is available on Linux, Mac, and Windows. And there's often a lot of Linux users that have a very specific set of drivers. Those are really hard for me to troubleshoot. Luckily, there's also a lot of Linux users in the community that are really happy to help. And then the final stereotype I wanted to highlight is there's just some people who don't read. There's actually a lot of people who don't read. So they go through the effort to make a report and then they realize there's an error message saying them that their STL is not watertight and that it cannot be 3D printed, and they just clicked away the error. So those are there as well. So here are some best practices. If you want to be a moderator, these are the things that really help me in the day-to-day. So I have a browser extension that auto-completes long sentences that I need to type a lot. It saves me a lot of time in a day. I have like data coming back about how much time I'm saving in a day, but I have a tendency to sound repetitive. So if I sound repetitive, that's usually because I want to help a lot of people. I, for example, also use it if there are people who ask me questions in Italian or German or French. I usually start the sentence with the post with, hey, I don't speak your language, but I'm going to try my best. And then I start typing in English because I bet that if I put it through Google Translate, it's going to be worse than if the original poster is going to put it through Google Translate. And that usually really helps. Also have a button. Oh, I have the button here. This is my button. Working on these kind of tickets or working on these kind of interactions, it sometimes feels like doing the laundry. So at one point you think, yes, the laundry is finished, and then you turn around and then the laundry basket is full again. To save me from that feeling, I have this special reward button, and whenever I help a person, I press the button. And it makes me smile. And usually other people in the office, it makes them smile as well. So that's just good news all around. Also, if you have trouble creating order in the chaos, please start working with labels. I love working with labels with emojis. It makes people understand that you're working on the ticket. And also it gives an overview. And in this case, it also gives people who do a pull request from the community, gives them a special crown, which is super nice. Something else that really saves time is auto-close tickets. So if I ask you a question, I attach a needs info label on it, and then you have 2 weeks to respond. And if you don't respond because you're a flyby poster, then the ticket closes, and then we know not to spend any attention on it anymore. But don't worry, if you forgot and the deadline just passed, you can post again and it will open again. But this really helps us keep an overview, and also it doesn't make it look like we leave a lot of tickets open on purpose because we just didn't get a reply. So this is a feature we use a lot on GitHub. On our forum, we have a mark as a solution option, mark as an answer option, and that has been super helpful. So before you click a post, you can already see if it's been resolved, yes or no, because it has a check mark. And if you Google and you end up on the forum, you can see you can see the solution. You can find it in a single click. Also, what's really helpful is that people get emails like, "Hey, don't forget to mark an answer," and then they remember to come back and then let us know if it's resolved, then yes or no. And finally, I have an access to two really interesting knowledge bases. So we have a full support team who help mainly our business customers. I usually help a lot of the makers and the community members. And they have a knowledge base filled with articles. So I often like to refer to there. And also, we have over 500 settings in Kira. And we have a wonderful community member, Ghostkeeper. He made the Ultimaker settings guide plugin. And he explains all of the settings in very high detail. So if people are stuck in finding the right settings for their model, I often like to refer them to there. Or if I want to explain a very specific setting, I just quote the direct article that's related to the setting. So I'm almost at the end. I really like to thank my moderators again. They're amazing. If I forgot to put you up here, I really tried my best. I'm sorry. But I'm really grateful for the time that they put into helping other people and making my life a little bit easier. That's really amazing. So if you think, yes, I want to do this as well, I can do even more than just contribute bug reports or feature requests. If you actually want to help change code, if you look for an easy place to start, just fix a typo. This is a typo I fixed earlier this week. Someone mentioned that there was a typo in the Japanese, and I was able to do this in 15 minutes. And now I'm mentioned as a contributor to Kira, which is pretty cool. So if you want to learn this too, let me know. I'll walk you through it. And I think that's it. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Definitely, I would love to ask a lot of questions, but okay, as time's restricted, there's a few questions that they're in the Q&A sessions. I shall help the audience to ask. And what is the strangest interactions you have with a student?
At one point I had a student who started asking a question about something that was wrong with their 3D printer. And they started asking another one and another one and another one and another one. And then we asked, hey, why are you asking so many questions? And apparently they were practicing because they had a test about 3D printing. And they just thought, I'm just going to crowdsource all the answers. So he's just started asking the questions like it were his genuine questions, but they were actually questions that were part of the test, and he was using it to learn for the test. That was, I think, one of the strangest I had.
Yeah, because you are the walking dictionary, right? Okay, and second question, what is the most NSFW not safe for work you have troubleshoot in your office?
Oh gosh. Yeah, at one point I had a model that was, so I saw in a screenshot it was of a naked lady, and I thought, oh, that's fine.
Oh.
And then I turned the naked lady around, and then she had a really big a penis, and it was really big, and it was a really odd model. And then I had a lot of questions the rest of the day, and I have to say I was a bit flabbergasted as well that this person really wanted to print this. But we were able to troubleshoot, and now they can print the model that they
Okay,
want.
that's something different. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So the third question will be, will Kura have any upcoming functions like the completely hide Z Slim?
Oh, yes. Because we are open source, you can see that the code, we changed some codes. So when we moved from 4.13 to 5.0, so Cura 5 onwards, we introduced a new slicing engine with the variable line width, and we saw a decrease in the Z-Slim quality. So we tried to fix that in 5.1 and are currently 5.2, but we made some really good improvements in 5.3. It's not as good as it was before yet, but it's already so much better. And if you just Google, or if you just search the issues on GitHub, you can see some examples of the way that we've improved it. And if it's not up to your standards, you can also help contribute. Like we had Thomas Raam contribute a new way of doing tree support. His work was literally, tree support is not up to my standards, so I'm gonna try and make it better. And it was so good that we ended up publishing it, and now you can use his code as well, and it's super amazing.
Yeah.
I've been using it, and it's been really helpful.
Yes, agree on that. Kura is really helpful. And I always taught that in my classes to my students. And
Oh,
using for Kura like 6 years, 7 years, yeah, it's great. They have turned out great, man.
that's good to
Yeah,
hear.
okay. That's great. Appreciate that you have taken your times and to help out in our webinar and also spend the times to become our speaker and to share your knowledge with others around here.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. And bye. I shall hand over to the next speaker, okay?
Okay, good luck today.
Thank you. Bye.